And now, from Glasgow.
So, hello, welcome to the second part of the wooden floor. Now, before I begin, I need to explain that I've done a bit of a boo-boo. I've been filming this in stages, and I had done the next part, and then I had a bit of a clean-up on the hard drive, deleting files that were no longer needed. And a lot of the files were quite big, and it was saying to me, will not go into the recycle bin. So they will be permanently deleted. I've sat down this morning to do some more filming and I realised I've accidentally deleted the files for the floor. So the first sort of half I'm going to have to explain to you. We haven't really missed out on anything in the sense of we're doing a little bit of repeating what we did in the last issue, in the last video, but I'll try and do a catch up. So, in the last stage, we completed this. You'll see it's a lot stiffer because I've done the next bit, but this was quite floppy because all of the sticks were going up and down. So obviously it was folding a bit like an accordion. That left us with wood on one side, paper on the other, and then we sanded that down so it was flat. Then what I've done is I've placed that into the trailer, and what I've done is I've butted it up against one side or the other. I don't know if I did it on the last video, but I also trimmed it. Maybe I should have watched the last video again. But so basically what we've done is we've placed that into the trailer. I've actually done it paper up. I don't want to show you this side until I'm ready to present it. But we placed this paper side up. We butted it against the front edge or the back edge and one side. We've clamped it down. Now, for the next stage, we're going to need these bamboo sticks. This is what I bought. Obviously, if you can source an alternative, you can. So let's have a little look at them. So I bought mine from Amazon. These are bamboo sticks, 40 centimeters long by 0.9 centimeters wide. Now, the reason I bought these is I had a lot of trouble researching the exact length of the wood. So what I've done is I've gone for these. If you multiply 40 centimeters by 12, that gives us an overall length of, I believe it's 4.8 meters, which I think is a reasonable length for a plank. I would have liked it a little bit wider, but I think that that's quite a reasonable proportion. So this is the one that I've gone for. Now, the wood that I bought, I estimated that we would need about 60 sticks, 50 to 60 sticks. Spoiler, I was wrong. So I actually bought 2 packs. Now they're £9.99 a pack, as you can see. So that's £20 for 2 packs. Now, I didn't really look at this. 100 sticks is £11.99, so I could have saved myself quite a considerable amount of money by buying 100. Spoiler for you, I think I used about 70, but we'll get on to that later. So once we've got our sticks, we need to separate them into 3 what I'm calling qualities. We have ones like this. This is absolutely perfect. And then you've got some hair which are a little bit out. There's a little notch in there. That's what I'm calling B grade. And some of them were just really damaged and really twisted. They went in the bin. And I found that from 120 sticks, this is my personal experience, from 120 sticks, I lost 8 of them through, roughly about 8, less than 10. because they were just completely useless, although some of them I was able to use, which I'll explain later. And I lost about 12 or 13 because they were what I would consider B grade. Either they're twisted like this or they've got notches on the end, but the majority of them I was absolutely able to use absolutely fine. So let's have a look at what I've done. And as you can see, there is a cat in the way. There's always a cat in the way. So with this in place in the trailer, we then want to place these pieces of wood on. Please excuse this piece of masking tape. I've put this on as a marker. This is telling me that that's the front of the trailer. That is important because you are making this according to the dimensions of the trailer. So I actually started here, and what I've done is with this clamped down onto the trailer, I've glued this piece of wood on, and I've buttered that right against the trailer. I think I actually did it the other way. No, I definitely started somewhere. Anyway, it doesn't matter where you start. Now, I actually started this side because I know I buttered this end down to the trailer. You'll see that where I did trim it a little bit too much, there's a little bit of an overlap. That doesn't matter so long as that overlap is no more than about half of the width of one of your bamboo sticks. Let me bring that in nice and close. I was going to have the paper on show at the bottom, but I decided in the end I'll have the sticks on. You're probably not going to see underneath the trailer, but now if you do have a look under the trailer, you're going to see this this wood. So what I've done is I've stuck this piece of wood on and I've clamped it down, and then I've placed the next piece on, and that takes me to about there. And then what I've done is on one of my not so good sticks, I've just trimmed a little piece and I've done that end. Then the next row I've started from this end. I put a complete piece of wood down. As you see, it finished there. And then we placed the next one on, and then I've cut a little piece to shape. What I actually did is I cut one and I cut it absolutely perfect, and then I used that as a master, and then I cut every piece of wood off from that. And then basically rinse and repeat and just go backwards and forwards, and then you get this nice where the planks have met in the middle. And when you get to about there, once you get to about there, obviously you're having trouble with the clamps. I actually then used 5 glasses. I had an empty glass turned upside down over there, one in the middle and one there, and then I had 2 glasses at about 3/4 full of water, the correct way up, which I placed in the middle just to stop these from bowing. It wasn't perfect, as you can see from things like this, and if you look at it from this profile, you'll see some of the bits of wood are raised, and some of them, like you see this one, it didn't go down too well. That's fine. Now what I actually found by coincidence, when I got to the very last strip, I was pushing that in and I was having to push it in quite hard. You actually need, where some of these have just come up a little bit, you've just got to push them down and then just get that one in, and that's why this has been done to shape, and the front of the trailer is there. Now I haven't counted these. I did a little estimate at the beginning, and I estimated 22 across. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, 22. So we've got 22 across, and then I've just got 2 stages left now, which I haven't done yet. I need to sand all of these down. They don't need to be perfect, but they do need to be smooth. You'll see on this side, some of them I haven't actually sanded down to the actual level of the wood, but it's all nice and smooth. I could be quite happy doing that, and it's all fairly smooth. This one I'm going to do exactly the same, and I'm going to sand them down. So we've got a lump there, so that needs to come down, and that needs to come down probably about a good millimetre, and I'm going to keep doing that until it's absolutely flat, and I'm going to do it exactly the same way I did in the last stage. Well, I use the word cheat because I'm going to be using a mechanical sander, but to be honest with you, if it gets the job done, is it actually cheating? Now I am keen to keep this masking tape there, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand it, and then once I get to there, what I did last time was I sanded this bit, and then that was almost perfect, and then I moved my sander up to there, and I found myself going back. So even if this bit got sanded more, at least it's level with this bit. And then once I get to there, I'll start there, and then I'll be doing this. So all the while I'm still doing this. So once I get to about here, I'm going to move this piece of masking tape, and I'll just move that down. I've got little arrows on, we'll keep it up, and then we'll carry on sanding. So I'll find myself with a bigger, focus on this bit, then we'll blend it into the next bit, move up a bit, and just keep blending. So with that in mind, I have now got some sanding to do, and the next cut you may see me with an extremely messy desk. Okay, so I've just finished that. I cannot feel my hands from the vibrations from the sander. So what I've done, it is not perfect, but that's on purpose. These would have been nailed in by some guy who's probably under pressure to get so many done a day. They aren't, if you feel them across, there are lengths of different heights ever so slightly. But what is really important is that when you feel these joins, all of these joins are level, so you can feel that one plank blends into another. Obviously you can see the join, and that's absolutely fine. In fact, actually I found one that I've missed, and that's just there. So what I'll do, I'll sort that one out later on. Right, so I need to clean up now. As you can see, I meant to say the sandpaper that I'm using for this is actually P80. If you feel that's a little bit rough, work your way down the grades. I think that P80 is perfect with a little electric mouse sander. It has left it feeling a little bit rough, but don't forget guys, this would not be silky smooth. This is just industrial lengths of wood nailed on. They would have nailed them at various points and left them. The next one goes on. They're not going to sit there about, oh quick, let's sand them down so they're nice and smooth. So that I am really happy with, and all I need to do now is get cleaned up, and then we'll get some wood stain done. Okay, so it's time for some wood staining. So the wood stain that I've used, I found on eBay. This is a water soluble medium oak. I bought the trial size. I did intend to water it down, that's why I went for a water based, because I thought it might be a little bit too strong. So what I'm going to do is I will dilute this, possibly I'm thinking 2 to 1, so we'll give it a little try. So we're going to need a piece of wood, which is going to be scrap. We're going to need medium oak. We're going to need water, and I'm going to use a sponge. Now I'm using a washing up sponge. Obviously I do not want that scratchy bit, so all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take take my sponge, just going to give a couple of slices. This is going in the bin when I've used it because it's going to be no good. And we'll just rip that off like so. And what I'm then going to do, and I'll do it off camera, is I will wet that under the tap, and then I'll squeeze out as much water as I possibly can. Okay, so I have gloves on. The reason I have gloves on is because I don't know how strong this wood stain is going to be on your skin. Plus I do have a cut and I certainly don't want to get the wood stain in. So we need a container. I just happen to be using a container for one of my partworks. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour the wood stain into there like so. And I did give a little test. I definitely know we can dilute this at least 1 to 1. So I'm going to pour in, do test this first guys, get a small container, add a little drop to a container, and then add equal parts of water, and just stain it on a piece of wood, and then just keep testing it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get some of the stain, and now all of a sudden that doesn't seem, there we go. So that is the extent I want to stain it. There's a little bit too much on there, but can you see the difference? So once we know that's in there, let's pop that in there. Squeeze out as much as we can. We want this damp. And then we'll just rub it along there, and that's going to give it a nice little stain. Now if you think that stained, if that isn't strong enough, then obviously don't dilute it quite so much. We can always go over it again. So what we're going to do is we're just going to wipe this over. We don't want to saturate it. Look at that. I think that's come out really nice. Beautiful. I'm really happy with that. Just going to take that bamboo-ness off so it doesn't look like bamboo anymore. Keep putting it in. Squeeze as much out as you can. You're actually not, I think it was actually a little bit daft of me to put the entire the entire lot into the pot. But that's okay, and I'm really giving it a good, I'm really rubbing it in. I don't want the sticks to get too wet, but I'm just going to keep going over until I get it nice and even. Let me show you this. You'll see there that there's a little bit of unevenness, so if it's uneven it's not a problem. But I think it's quite important to really squeeze as much of this out as you can. Try to avoid getting drops on, and just keep going over. Give it a really good rub just to keep that nice and even. This is going to be a bit of a challenge now because I've got it a little bit damp, but that's not a problem because we'll just keep applying this until it gets to about maximum colourness. Look at that. I'm really happy with that, and now I'm starting to think 1 part stain, 1 part water is probably spot on. Beautiful. Really happy with that. That's coming out quite nice. Obviously go for the colour that it appeals to you. If you want a different colour, then that's fine. I've gone for oak because I did a little bit of Google research, and it would suggest that the wood is actually oak or beech. It wouldn't be a rare type of wood. There we go. Look. We'll just keep rubbing that. Now what is important, guys, is when you finish this and you're leaving it to dry. I'm going to turn that over so that it's easier to do this side. When you come to wait for this to dry, do clamp it down. Either clamp it to a piece of flat wood or something that is flat, or clamp it to the trailer, because obviously with this being damp, we're going to run the risk of it warping. And try not to touch any bit that you've already done with your damp finger. So you'll see there, like, I've got some drips from earlier. That's not a problem. I'm just going to rub them in and just even them out, and I'm actually really happy with that. Now if you have over diluted this a little bit, wait for it to dry and then go over it again, and it'll just add a little bit of stain onto the stain, but let the first layer dry, and just keep going over it until the colour builds up. It's better to over dilute the wash just a little bit and then have to apply multiple layers than it is to go over once and go, oh no, it's too dark, because you can't really remove it. But if you apply a second coat, it'll just stain on top of the stain a little bit. So I would suggest that's the better way to do it. So there we go, we are almost finished. You can see the difference there. I think that's just nice. You may not agree with the colour, but like I say, go for the colour that appeals to you. I've gone for a light oak, and I have no idea what I'm going to do with this leftover wood stain. So I was worried about not having enough wood stain. As you can see, I've got absolutely tons left over. So what I'll do is I'll decant that back into the bottle when I'm finished. But obviously there's more there than that bottle will hold. There we go, guys. That I'm actually really happy with. It's come out a little bit better than I say it comes out better than expected. What did I expect? I don't really know. But yeah, that's nice. That is really nice. And then just keep rubbing over it so that you don't get any unevenness. And what it's going to do is it's going to bring out the texture in the wood. So if you've got any knots in the wood, like you see, we've got a couple of little knots there, and it's just really emphasized them. So that's really nice. And I say, any bits of unevenness, just keep going over them. I've got a couple of bits there that I'm not quite happy with, so we'll just keep your sponge damp. Okay, and that should be all you need to do. I've just touched it with my wet fingers, not a problem. We'll just keep wiping over it. Excuse me. What do you think, guys? Would you be happy with this? At least if it's giving you ideas, you know, if you do a slightly different idea, you know, if you do the wood, get different wood, maybe if you stain it differently, maybe you want to varnish it. I'm not really keen on varnishing it because this is an actual working piece. There would be pallets going on here every day, but that I'm actually really happy with. So there we go, guys. So I am going to clamp that down to a piece of wood. Look at that, that's really nice. Almost looks like a ship's deck now, doesn't it? Almost. Just a couple of little bits popping up here and there that I'm not fully happy with. I can't, some of these pieces, it's not taking the stain quite so well, and you can't tell if you've missed it or if it's just not taking the stain, especially in the corners. I suspect these bits in the corners are just bits that I've missed. There we go, guys. Lovely, really happy with that. So I'm going to let that dry, I would suggest we let this dry overnight. I don't know how long you normally leave stain to dry for, but hey, let's do it overnight. And there we go, guys. So I'll see you in the morning. Okay, so this is nice and dry, and I'm happy with the colour. I'm going to bring it up nice and close for you so you can see that colour. Like I said earlier on, if you're not happy with the colour, you can always put another layer on. I think some of these bamboo sticks have been filled, look. It's not taking the colour so well, but that's really not a problem. I did put the label on there, so that's the top of the the front of the trailer. So I'm just going to take that off, and I'm just going to make sure I keep this the right way. Now, in theory, because I built this, so I will apologise about the trailer. I've not been building this strictly in the right order, so it's got one curtain on. Now, because I've built this in situ, actually on the trailer, it should be an exact fit. It was tricky to get out because it was so stiff, and because of the size of this, thankfully I've not got my curtain in, so I'm going to have to open the back doors, angle this, and then just bring it through. And this is where I find out if everything's gone as planned. So it will be a bit tricky to get in, because like I say, it is a really tight fit. And that is going in perfectly. That is absolutely perfect, guys. It's a okay, I can remember what happened now. So one thing I mentioned on my notes that I accidentally deleted, the front, where the front of the trailer goes in and you've got screws, you do need to hook that underneath the screws first, otherwise you won't get it in at the front. But look, that is gone in. It will clip in. I have made this, like I said, exactly to fit, and it's so easy to do because you are building, because you're actually gluing them in on the trailer. You place all of this on the trailer and then stick the sticks directly on. You don't need to worry about the glue because the wood glue won't stick to anything metal. But look, guys, that is my trailer floor done. I'm a little bit disappointed by that. I might replace that. That's got filler on it. I didn't realise these sticks came like that. But if I wanted to, I could just pull that stick out and just replace it. Right, guys, so I'm going to attempt a zoom in so you can see the quality of the trailer. I really like it. I'm going to attempt something here, guys. This might fail. I'm going to go to front view, and there we go. Isn't that so much better than the floor panels that they give you? So yeah, I'm really happy with that, guys. I think that looks a million times better. So little bit of a spoiler for you, what's coming up the next few issues, because it's almost finished. So as this has been released on the 26th of June, now next week we're going to be getting 2 roof panels. Do I spoil it for you? Yes. I hated them. I think they're absolutely dreadful. The week after you get 2 more panels, and then on the final week there's a couple of little bits. Like I say, I filmed this slightly out of sync because the floor was taking me so long. I just knocked out a couple of videos. So this is actually fully complete. You see that little bar on the bottom? That's on, and there's a couple of little panels, and underneath there where the trailer hitch is fitted. You'll get to see that on the 17th of July, which is the final build. And then I'm going to be taking a week's break from Wednesdays, and then we're going to be starting a new project, which I will tell you about close to the time. So guys, this is my trailer floor complete. It's not a difficult job, but it's a lengthy job. Obviously we've laid all the sticks down. When I did the bottom, one thing I wanted to show you, I said earlier on obviously I stuck the first layer of sticks to a piece of paper. My original plan when I first started was I was going to stick the next layer of bamboo sticks onto the wood, and I was going to remove all of the paper with a sander. Then I thought, no, I'm not going to bother with that. And then I thought I'll just leave the paper on, and I thought there is a chance of seeing it. What I went for in the end was doing the top layer of wood, which you would have seen in last week's video, and then I flipped it over and I've stuck these bamboo sticks to the paper, and the result you've got, you won't see underneath the trailer very much, but if you do catch a glimpse of it, you can see it has got a wooden floor. If you want to wood stain that bottom piece, you can. I haven't bothered, but I've got this one, and I just think that looks absolutely amazing. So there you go, guys. That is my trailer floor done. I'm trying to get the best angle in I possibly can, and I just think that looks absolutely superb. And it's cost me roughly half the cost of the magazines that they've given you to do the original. So there you go, guys. Hopefully give you an interesting project to do. So guys, take care. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next week when we will be doing issues 136 and 137. Take care, guys. Bye bye.